Under the Sun has 1 point or another tried. And if Koi brings it back out again, is this a good idea, you guys think?
I think it is a good idea because despite them losing to Fnatic, it was still very close. The only reason I think it didn't go overtime was because of that Alpha 4K. So I am glad.
Well, they're not going to do it again.
To not see that,
yeah,
I guess.
They're not going to bring it out again. Yeah. What do you think about this new look?
I mean, I was kind of like, oh, Natank first time ISO when we did get to see it. And then I was like, oh, Natank first time Vice when we saw him play that on Lotus. Natank going back onto the Vice on Haven?
All I'm going to say is there's no other big boss move than to play Viper on Haven into Sadak. This MF invented this. This is Sadak's thing, you know? So I rate the riskiness.
I like that then. I guess it's making a statement. But I do think they've sacked in that Natank ISO way too soon. I know they didn't get the win, but I do think that they had all of the sauce cooking for it. It was just that Fnatic had a little bit more experience on that Haven to bring it over the line.
Yeah, they had the knowledge of how to play that comp. But like also, I think as well, when we look at Attack, he didn't play bad on the ISO. So I'm kind of surprised that they've pivoted here. We'll have to see how this Vice on Haven works.
Yeah, I think there's been too much bullying at our caster. So I'm going to be nice here. Don't worry, Mitch, Tom, and Pal. You're my least favorite 3 English casters.
Thanks a lot, Yinsu. Always great to have you on the team. Now, Pal, we're going into map number 3. I know in stage 2, you might not have been a big fan of third maps with how everything's panned out for you, but are you excited for Haven?
Yes. A lot. I'm excited to see what Movistar KOI bring with this new look comp. It's not something that people have really been trying to test, it seems, at least in the EMEA, because we've had so much success within the region playing that Yoru ISO. I'm interested to see what this first iteration of it could look like.
I kind of do look at this as almost like a let's try and beat their comp rather than let's try and beat them with a double duelist, because I don't think they win that fight.
Yeah,
I think you go direct fire versus fire in this case and you lose, and well, I'm definitely more interested in what their comp will show in the second half. I think defensively it looks good. On the attack, I'm intrigued.
Well, starting things out, a lot of damage has been done. Flya is low, Filu's even lower. Down on 0 after Sagetsu's out his way. He's inside his smoke waiting for an invasion, and he finds one, but Natank, he lives to tell the tale. Blows taken on that attacking side, and with Flya falling, now the advantage for the retake sits with KC. KOI are trying to get ahead of this though. They fight in towards the garage, but there's players all around, and BaddyG suddenly finds himself alone against KC. 3 players left to take. Avez and Sadak both desperately low. This is still very winnable, but they're going to group up. No individual fights being offered. A shock dart in KC's close. They break out of the smoke and they find him with ease. KC with another pistol.
Now, Tom, you said this Omen Viper comp is quite obviously better on defense. But the last time you said that about a team running an Omen Viper, or at least a main smokes Viper on Haven, they actually struggled massively on the defense and had a very large comeback against Foot Esports of all teams. Do you remember who that was and when?
No.
No. Some irrelevant team in Istanbul in 2023. So that's actually something I'm quite interested in looking at. How can Movistar KOI use these double smokes on their attack side to bait out a lot of this KC early round fighting with their double duelists, and then disguise where they're ending in the later rounds?
I was going to pay. I was going to pay your team a compliment, but yeah, basically on this map, if you're looking at the stats, it's a very good map for KC. They're 6-1, and the 1 is against a team that nobody likes. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
I feel like I have to be the adult here. You guys, that's a very bad sign.
We're in danger with that.
You guys need to play nice now. I'll tell you what, KC are not playing nice. They've already taken a triple to kick this off. Avez making it his triple and making BaddyG a little lighter for the late fight. He will fall in the end, and there's plenty of pistol players to recover on that big gun. KC 2-0. They'll hold on to that lead, extend it. Let's see if they can hold on to it for as long as Powell held on to that grievance with Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Always. Just been waiting for a while to get that one out.
You feel better now that it's out of your
Teams
system.
bringing a
that's okay.
Spectre into round 3 bonus, win the round 42% of the time.
Captain Cow, I love you.
Not bad.
Yeah, what the average round 3 bonus win rate is 45. We left that out. So
Yeah, but are those
it's lower
do the
when you have a
bonuses
Spectre.
include all the teams that just have 5 rifles?
Isn't that crazy?
I think it might.
It's almost like buying that weapon puts you at a disadvantage. Crazy. Anyways, who could have seen that coming? Anyone with eyes?
Not Sadak in the clutch earlier.
Tom, that was round 2, first of all. They had Spectres at range. Second of all,
There was a full buy.
you might be better in that fight with a classic, if I'm being honest. You know what? If you lose it, you've got more credits for the next one.
Anyway, I'm going to be the adult here. We'll move on. We've got ourselves a good opportunity for KC. Having that run it back online, along with the sniper being available, any chip damage will help out that outlaw. KC are very good at picking up that early momentum with this composition, but they are not in the right place at the right time. Sadak's going to hope for a miracle shot, and well, no miracles to be had. It's going to have to be a full retake, but with run it back, they won't mind that too much.
That's the thing about this ult, having it online so early. The triple kill from Abez certainly helped out.
They used the paranoia already.
Now you're losing a piece of the puzzle. And here he goes, dropping out of heaven. It's an easy fight. He even wins it before falling, opening up an avenue of approach. Natanko with the double flyer following through! And it's a wonderful round from Movistar Koi with only Abez left, trapped in the heavens and sent there in the end. 2-1. Movistar Koi win the round, but it is costly.
Yeah, dropping out of heaven on an A retake is never that great of an idea, apparently. But what is good is actually Elite in that round, and as you can see here, starting to split his Sentinel util across the map.
Oh, they've just taken it off.
Starting to be able to maintain information on areas of the map where Movistar Koi are going to use their Viper Walk to try and create question marks, to deny you lines of sight, deny you the information. If you leave that tripwire there, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to keep yourself balanced in the mid-round.
Oh, the buy now coming back in for KC. Ultimate no longer online. In fact, it's the From the Shadows is the only ult, and not too much information off of that Prowler. Martin just holding the close angle ready. Of course, the context of this series for KC will have mean they've beaten the 2 teams at the bottom of the board and put them in a very good spot in terms of head-to-heads. And for Koi going 0-3 might just be a death sentence. Martin, gets a little bit cheeky with the jump back and gets caught Filu in a deeper angle than expected.
Prowler's got caught on short. That means it doesn't make it full distance. It doesn't get up to the trip. They could be in risk if there were players left to fight off of it. 4 falling at the hands of Filu. A quick triple in that late fight. And Abez, well, guess where he is again? Up in heaven, but with 5 players to fight off against and credits in the bin. Getting out of here might be his best option, but it's not an option without a big fight going his way. Filu's the first, but there's plenty more around that corner. The flash broken. They still think it's possible for him to win this. If they throw 2 at it and he takes those fights, he's going to go right back in for the duel, right back in for the round win. They'll let him save this weapon. The cost of the round.
They only pushed to get Filu the ace. Like, I don't think they had any care about clearing this guy out. I think
the other 2 looked like they
let's try
wanted
and get him the ace, and then the rest of them just ran away, and they were like, all right, yeah, you can hold on to your gun now.
It's genuinely a somewhat valid tactic this early into a half in the final map of a series. Get someone firing up, especially your duelist player, build that momentum early. Tom, you mentioned that record that KC has on this map, a 6-1 record so far. One of the things that's been crucial to their defense and the success they've had on it are these really set A retakes. Their ability to refight into this site when it counts.
Yes! They don't have the counter. They don't have the counter.
Let's see now whether or not Carmine Core, using this timeout, do have that counter or not. I'd hedge my bets and say that's a fairly brave comment to make this early in a half. And I think KC probably are experienced enough on this map to know what they're doing.
So from my understanding of the KC coaching staff is there's normally someone managing the attack and someone managing the defense. That's normally how they split their roles. Now the guy on the defense who doesn't have the counter supposedly is Eng. So that's going to be an interesting one. We'll see if he has an idea. The thing is as well, like that execution was wonderful. The fact they had the poison orb cutting off, anybody running in was going to be low. They then had the thorns delaying them, and then they had, for anybody in the site who was trying to run away, there was a snake bite as well to make them vulnerable. That's a gorgeous execution.
It looks like Movistar KOI have got that as the main part of their game plan. They want to try and abuse this A space quite early, and then you saw them just simply, rather than going back and re-clearing and playing for the rest of the map control on the map, just dodging the drone, dodging the re-clear, and then going and hitting that A site and having this super strong post plan with all of that util that you mentioned. It denies KC those A retakes they've been playing into when they've played this map previously. So far, the plan is working. Let's see if KC do have that counter.
Well, Eng, normally a man who doesn't have the answers, you know? That's what they say about him. At least the coach is on the other side, perhaps. For KOI, an adjustment of a slow default. They're going to just sit and wait, allowing aggression to come through from KC and looking to punish it. The one rifle in play is the first to take a fight, loses it, but it's recovered by Martin, 5 HP. I think that rifle is going to go to a teammate. For now, at least. They're going to hedge their bets on a site that looks like C is where they're heading. As we can see, Movistar KOI going the other direction, and it's only Sadik with a little sheriff waiting on that side.
They'll be very happy thus far. Getting rid of Abez. I think he has more kills than the rest of the team combined at the moment. I think it was 8-1 up until this point. It's going to come down to somebody else to be a hero, and I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to happen in this one.
Again, we see Movistar KOI abusing this A space. This might just be a case of this is working. We actually don't think they've got any way of dealing with this.
It's exactly the same, except for the fact that the thorns are on the ceiling, but other than that...
both of them.
Good.
Yeah.
It worked when it needed to work. That's the important thing.
Yeah, there might be some...
They don't have a counter to that, I'm telling you.
I would be surprised, yes, indeed. There goes the rifle. Sugetsu is the man marching forward, but he is no longer in the play. Sheriff's sitting up in heaven. Not a lot to really report back on in terms of hopes and chances.
What in heaven?
Sheriff.
My ult's ready.
For now, at least, they find one. It's a pick.
This poison cloud is getting so much value.
Yeah, might just be going down to that spike in the end. Avoid giving the orbs over with some players close to theirs.
Are they going to be finding anything else? It's another solid round. And yeah, you can just see how awkward it is to make their way back through into the site. I do feel like KC are going to have to start fighting a little bit more for that A control.
Yep.
Which, on this map in general, is very common. But when you think about where they like to fight, especially with the double duelists, you're thinking around garage, you're thinking a lot of these close, tight angles where the pop flashes can work for them. Well, you can see that Movistar KOI players definitely getting pumped up on the other side. But this is the adaptation. You can see in the early stages of the round, 4 players set up around that A side of the map. They do not want to allow them to get into that same post plan once again.
They just can't make it too obvious now. KC can't show themselves too early. They've done exactly that. And now Movistar KOI have all of the ability in the world to just react away from them and start to go straight in towards C, where they'll have just as strong of a post plan with another Poison Cloud lineup.
Yep. I mean, they saw reveal, they heard the flash of Phoenix, they saw the paranoia go through. You know that that's the heavier side of the map, but they're a little slow.
Slow.
They're taking the space. Luckily, it hasn't been filled back in just yet.
There's that Poison Cloud. Of course, they have utility on the other side to sort of sell the idea that push-up, but it doesn't allow them to get this aggressive swing back in to deny the plant, but it does seem like KC have resorted into that retake setup. Shock dart to start, camera already getting them a little bit of information, and more importantly, Sugetsu has found that man advantage.
And Monster has to back off there. Rejoining the troops, TP towards the back, but there's no chance he's getting away with that. Addy G gonna stay tucked in this corner as Martin finds one. That's a wonderful pick for this side, but they can't get out of the choke point. It's still being held. Now they've got KOI surrounded. They can push from every angle, and it's working at least to start. Smokes up to divvy up the battleground, but it's still in favor of KC with Sugetsu's triple. A third round will be found.
That's all they need now. That ability to consistently retake against that heavy post-plant setup the Movistar Koi are bringing. It helps when you get fed kills like that, though.
Yeah, I feel like it also helps when you have a dimensional drift to do this. Like, clearing out that backline made it so much easier to sort of isolate the fights, because there's nowhere to go. You can't go run up long and play that post plant. You can't really aggress at this stage because you've already lost all of that control. So it's an ultimate that had very high value. I suppose, similarly, having the run it back, those ults are going to be cycled in between each other, so that's at least a chance. But I want to see if they can consistently do that, and especially, we've already seen that on the A site, they haven't been able to do that. So they're going to continue to fight it once again. KC are almost pigeonholed into it. We can't let them have this control.
Yeah. Means it should be nice and simple for Movistar Koi. They can take things relatively slowly, wait for KC to show that early aggression, now they know they're grouping as 4, and make decisions from there.
So they've left one solo player. Martin is going to hold on to all of that control. It does, however, look like after selling some ideas on the other side of the map, they're going to go back to the tried and true, the bread and butter, and they're going to try and challenge Martin.
Gate Crash went down just in time. So he can be a little bit more greedy with the space. Looking to control that, looking to deny it from the hands of Koi, and they've seen one man and they're backing off. Starting the rotation towards that C site. Cypher Util still waiting. KC still waiting for a play coming in on B. They've got a trap to grab a kill on the walk through, but those players all stacked towards the opposite side of the map. I wonder then, when this push comes to shove, I was going to say if Elite will just get out of here, he might be forced to by the ult, but now the Thorns have kept him trapped in. The Decay would eliminate him if he tried to run through. TP from Sagetsu punished. Elite dropped as he's trapped in the site, and Sadak taken down elsewhere. This is a wonderful push for Movistar Koi, and a 5v2 that honestly there's no chance for KC. It's a shame that Aves had just invested the ult, because a few seconds later, and I don't think they make that decision.
He actually had to run back on himself because he realized that his flank was gone. So he couldn't just run in, because the second he goes back, he would have been dead. So it just made that ult completely null and void. And I do feel like not playing the retake, when you know what sort of execution, it feels like a cardinal sin. Obviously, the Nightfall helped out massively, and maybe there was a part of the mind of Elite that was going, okay, they won't use that because we just gave it up for free last time, so they won't put that in, but it forced him backwards. It was the exact same on the A site with the Thorns combined with the Orb. If he runs through that, he is dead.
Absolutely, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. Is we're seeing this poison cloud used towards these key exit choke points, and then they're just hard holding the Garage or Heaven chokes as well. KC cannot get back through those at the moment. They're running into too much util, not even their flashes, their Phoenix util can get them back through enough. They need to start flanking. They need to start pushing for mid control in the mid round and sending at least one, if not two of their players back around C long, back around A long, and trying to get in behind these heavy post plant setups.
Launching thorns.
So far.
The Tank's lineups here,
Get it back on the ice.
They either win the round or they're just like full troll. Like that seems to be the mix. Nice aggression though. Monster has been the bane of their life, so the fact that that's the first pick couldn't be any better. The guy that has been stopping them every time they try and make their way back into a site. And well, we know that one of those Thorns is already gone.
Oh, what was it used for? Oh, they've put it down. So this PAL, I think you'll agree, is to...
Actually, PAL's going to tell us what this is for.
Sorry, yes. A space has been taken. What do you think this is for?
Default English.
Yes, yes.
Ah, yes.
Deny that late control if you think they push.
That vague and ambiguous term.
I can't wait to see BBL copy that one. It'll be Magnum. He loves the Vice. I've heard. But a pick with Monster down. It's KC. Sat outside this B site. We've seen this a couple of times from them. The late game, late round, waiting for Movistar Koi to walk in. This time, there's not a trip in play anymore. And so they run through the smoke. It's ambitious, and it only finds one Elite on the other side, though. I think that was a spam that drops Batty G, and with that, they don't have control. The spike backs off. 24 seconds left on the clock. And this aggression now to come through towards the A site, but it's going to be heard. They have to stop. They have to run. The player on short's giving it away. Now the rotation comes in. Elite's already going to be here. He's got his trip. He's got his camp. Thorns go in, but it's too late. Two players are already out and waiting. Movistar Koi, they've stumbled. They've fumbled. And a fourth round to KC as a result.
I killed them.
I've liked the early retake there. Like, really? Come on, man. We didn't need this one. But yeah, I like the early retake. The fact that I think they've realized that if the post-plant utility is able to set up, they're in a lot of trouble. Just don't allow it to happen at all.
And it's that flood on B side that has worked so well for them previously. They have this way of approaching the map where they're going to leave one of the sites for retake. We saw it as A early in the half. We then saw it C after that timeout. But B, they can always flood and fight for, especially with those double flashes.
There we go. That's where it was supposed to go. Meant to.
I feel like he could have thrown it a bit earlier, you know, but he waited a while for some reason. Deep aggression from KC. We can see it here with Aves and Martin taking that space on mid. Still 2 players towards that B site. Obviously, MKOI have a window, but they'll still have to deal with the Cypher utility on site. They need to go quick. That flank is going to be a big problem for them in the late round. Already TP denied on site. Elite is going to try to stand his ground. In they go. Cage up, paranoia to delay. They're kept back, kept at bay. Martin's here to cover the cross. Movistar MKOI, they've been halted.
They've used almost everything. They have a singular flash remaining over on Filu, and this has been the first time that they've been stopped in their tracks, and all the players, bar one, have managed to get in front of any of that utility. This is a first blockade that they faced, and they're going to get slaughtered on the entry in. The tank had an opportunity flyer. Well, he's doing his best, Sadak. Even still, the tank is making this interesting. Has the spike on his back, so could look to retreat, look to go back, but they don't know how much control has been lost. The wall would have given the game away if anybody was right in on that flank, but there could be somebody stood on the edge of it.
20 seconds, no choice now, but Natank wins the fight. Aves is down. 15 seconds they need to go. If they're going to go for it or save, the decision has to be made now, and Sadak in the corner, the last man standing! He brings the round into KC's pocket. The lead is now theirs.
That's tighter than it should be.
Sure. It's just insane it ends up this close, considering this initial position that they found themselves in, but the fact is, just they have 2 options. It's either get ahead of everything that's being thrown, which I think the early TP from Martin allowed for, and then the quick rotation of everybody else. But once that utility now expected, it does seem like KC are building their way back into it. 3 of the last 4 rounds.
And now we have a timeout for Movistar MKOI. Seems like KC did have a counter of something. Now,
I was not going to say that.
we get the mind games. What do they go for? Do Movistar MKOI have that depth in the way they want to game plan around this comp? Are they just playing hard for the simple macro? Okay, we're going to try and just default, create a bit of pressure, then we're going to group up towards the site that we think is weakest, and then end there and have a really strong post plant. Take whatever fights we can get on the site, regardless of however strong that might be. Or now do we see them to start to slow the pace down a little bit more? Use the fact that they can win a lot of control quite comfortably with the Vise bites, with the Omen smokes and the Viper util as well.
That's not a nice stat.
It's not ideal.
No. No, it should be considerably higher than that.
It's a 50-50 at the start of the round, you would think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, either you win or you don't.
That's true. I never thought about it that way. Pal, are you writing that down? Good man.
It's right next to Buy the Spectre on his notepad.
I'll scribble that out when you're not looking.
Martin aggressively placed. Force back. You mentioned it. Are they going to stick to that same A-site execution? For now, it is a default. We've seen that throughout. With a little bit of further aggression from Filu. It does seem like he's trying to sell a ruse, but it could also be just trying to potentially get rid of, or at least figure out some of that utility. As they now head towards B.
Good TP for info from Sugetsu. He sees one, but he doesn't think they'll slip through that quickly. That's a blunder. And an opening pick for Movistar MKOI. Space on the B side. Early flank though from Aves. He's been working on this. The slow push through Garage. But Movistar MKOI are not done yet. This isn't a B play. This is all the way to A, but through Elite they'll have to go. He's already grabbed 2, but now he's low. Now he's blinded. The desperate spray, but he still gets more! How did Elite get away with that? He's the first line of defense, and he's standing at the end of the round. I thought MKOI had made the perfect read. Our back is open. Push forward, punch through. But they split up. They gave him a chance, and man, he seized it with both hands.
A really nice little coach timeout round. Keep it simple, okay? We do our default. We get a lot of the space, so we're going to do fake pressure with the 2 leaders of our pack. What a shot.
It was the regen shields as well. He would have been dead, but it came up just in time to keep him on 6 HP. That's unreal.
We have started to see those flanks now out of KC. Are we going to see more of that out of Aves, or are we going to see them try and combine their 2 big power ultimates this round in a big set retake? It's not worked for them so far.
The other thing as well is whether they'd want to use it here just based on the ultimate's potential with a Viper's Pit. But a Viper's Pit versus a Hunter's Fury seems like a gamble, and Martin, oh, he's got to be a little bit careful here. He's already spotted the gate crash, and I think they've realized this needs to be more of a retake. But he's still just sticking around. In fact, he's got a little bit of help from a friend called Aves. Not the prettiest of shots, and this is still competitive. But they have not managed to clear this man from the back of the site. Monster and Flyer, well, they have those ults, but I don't know if they'll want to use them. They need to find something beforehand, and well, it's the teamwork of KC that ends up working out.
Right. 8 ults.
Last round before the switch.
It's going to be a chaotic round.
What was the score when it was 2-2, right? And he said they don't have the counter. I hope no one's clipped that.
Yeah, it would be really unfortunate, especially if it was put in like the end of game replay.
That's still early days, you know. Some fool said that this composition might be better on the defense. I was going to ask, what do you think of that, considering from 2023 I said that and was wrong?
I think it's got a very good ability to be good at. Okay.
Really?
You have the ability to fake pressure, sell a lot of information on the attack side.
Interesting.
And then have some very hard anchor on defense. You're given that space as well. You've got all the ability to capitalize on it. Nice little set Yoru ult round here as well.
They've already got the advantage, but it is slipping away. Flyer's gone down. Filu now making it to sight. He's there, but his rest of his team are not. And Martin's trained in on the angle. Hunter's Fury thrown through as well. This is the round to use your ults, the final one of the half. It's causing problems for Movistar KOI. They're boxed in terms of the space they can take, but when it fades, they go deep. Martin, though, still standing, and he drops that spike on the floor, waiting until the ult pops, and the tank knows there's no big weapon, but the small one's just as deadly. Martin again with the shorty. Every time a Vice ult is up against him, he comes out with 1 or 2. Each barrel as deadly as the next. An 8 on the board for KC. It seems like they may have had the counter.
Yeah, it is definitely looking like a rough position now for Movistar KOI to try and come back from. We'll have to wait and see if they got what it takes after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, folks. It's KC with a big bounce back into this map. 8-4 now. They've got the lead and then some, doubling up on their opponent's performance and now moving to their attack side. Pal, we touched on the comps a little bit, but for those that may just be joining us, when we go onto this attack side, do you expect KC to slow down with the comp that they've brought to bear?
No, I don't think they can really afford to. I think they need to make the most of the fact that they actually have a lot of flashes to be able to fight deep, for space on the map. They need to be trying to get around the hard hold setups that we can expect when we start KOI to bring. Okay, blocking the C-long choke, blocking Garage, fighting very heavily for A sites, and perhaps start to use a lot of that space around B that they should be given, and the links that are coming off of it as well.
Fairly important pistol round. Movistar KOI, well, Batty G, he's barely seen an enemy, and he's almost lost his life for it. A lot of potential delay, but in these rounds, normally you'd say that less investment into the utility, but the fact is, still got the snake bite, still got a paranoia, still got a seize. There's lots available. But as you mentioned, at least in terms of the smokes, those flashes are almost the direct counter.
Portal closed.
Oh, nice opening. That's Avez down on the ground. I hear them getting loud on the stage, happy with the opening pick in their pocket.
He's playing.
Anyways, yeah, you see what I have to deal with, pal? Every day. KC, a 4 versus 5 and an adjustment to move to the C site, but there's still plenty waiting for them there. You might not have those Cypher trips, but the Thorns will do just as well to keep players out. Flash sat inside of Garage to be popped late for information. It's online and available whenever Natank feels like he needs that intel. Seeing one, it will be popped. There's the info. He knows what's happening, tries to get ahead of it. It's a risky game to stick around. Snakebite will keep them back. 18 seconds left. It's time to move, and move they shall, but not into the C site. They're looking for B. It's actually wide open. KC are gambling. But look how low the time is. This is a huge gamble, but they've made it in. The plant should be acquired. In fact, I don't think there's anything that can be done to deny it. Okay, they've beaten the clock, but there's still plenty of players to take down. Movistar KOI will be looking for the retake together.
It's a man disadvantage, but the HP not that far behind. Even still, the trades looking decent up until that point. Back to a 2v2, and the remaining players are a little bit further behind. Utility not available for either side. That was the last piece thrown out, and Sugetsu just playing close in the corner. Might be a nasty surprise, but he's already been tagged up, but they find both kills. Put Sugetsu at an end of a pistol round. You've got a safe pair of hands.
Absolutely. We see there from KC that mid-round reaction. Sure, they were low on time. They had to go for something, but they have this big gap towards B. And they just need to make them sure that they stick together, they find that gap around the middle of the map, and make the most
I love you. Nice goal, bro.
Nice! Nice! All right, Yinsu said she wanted to see him a little bit more animated, not looking as sad. Well, that round's certainly gotten it out as Ace.
Not a smile yet.
It's not a smile, but it's an improvement.
Oh, now they come in with the better of the buys. A chance to really increase this lead of Martin.
That gun seems
just
alright.
Farming. Yeah, only versus Classics, though.
Two.
Versus other. If it was versus Spectre, he'd have lost.
I know, but he might have run out of ammo. It shoots so quickly. It's wow, he managed to get 2 with the same clip. Incredible.
You should take notes.
The more interesting thing about that round was actually how KC played around the timing of Monster's Viper Fuel. They waited to get their garage pressure until that wall came down, then used that as their trigger to explode through. And that's what I'm expecting to see them try and do with this comp. Make the most of the fact that if they time that util right, they can group up and take a lot of fights like this on their own terms.
Oh, they are farming up the ults that they'd want as well. That's the more terrifying prospect, as Avez one away from having that run it back. I think it was the same in the first half as well. While Philo is doing his best to just make sure he dies to the spike. Doesn't want to give anything extra. It's still going to be a troublesome position for them. And you can imagine that KC are going to have the idea to try and fight for those orbs.
Shame they've lost the Stinger. Maybe they'll buy a Spectre in its place. It's pretty solid in round 3, according to some people. But more likely, play the pistol. Maybe even purchase up. Oh, another Stinger. Huh.
You're not going to let that go.
No. Well, not for a long time. I remember your 3 Spectre buy.
Something about flogging in a dead horse.
Don't hold back.
All day long. I got all day. Nothing better to do. 10-4, 6-round gap. KC come in here with a very solid buy. Not just the Stinger we all know can be so good in this round, but also the rifles, 4 of them, and the ultimate, as you've highlighted, pal, from Aves. But run it back will give them a second lease of life with this rifle, and it's going to be running straight through on long, catching one and opening up the door for Batty G to fall. Monster even goes down before the run it back is so done. Quick. And this round, it's tied up in a neat bow. Oh. Well, not quite.
Oh, that was just a little jump scare. Oh, there's a chance for Fly. He's found a gap. VLU's picked off another one. This is starting to fall apart. They're so focused in on one that they haven't quite found the other. A chance for a lineup, but Aves is just on fire. Somewhat literally. A 3rd kill for him already. And while all that's left is VLU, and Martin's there alongside him. The 1-2 punch of KC, 11-4. Let's just say they took Lotus personally.
You know what, as Billy said, the Phoenix really can look good here on the attack, and I hope some other teams in the league can take notes, because this is how it should be used. Just phenomenal play coming out of Aves.
He's making it look good. He's making it look good. That shouldn't be something that they should get away with.
Good job,
compositionally,
bro, good
with that
bro.
price.
From me, nice.
If that's what he does to make the Phoenix look this good, I'm getting 11 on that straight away.
But you know what's drawing my eye? That aggression coming out of KC. We're seeing them play around the wall. We're seeing them use the ult. And I'm just thinking, Movistar Koi, they don't look like they have the counter.
They do have this hard hold set up on C. Okay, they've got the Viper, they've got the Vise, they've got the Omen. It didn't work for them last round, simply because Aves actually just hit some very
run through it.
It works in theory, but sometimes you do just have to hit your shots. Now, what does KC bring? If they know that Movistar Koi have that hard setup, the one that they should be easily be able to fight with, are they going to try and do this fake pressure towards A, draw some rotations over, and then try and end back towards C instead?
Now at least it's patient. The purchase from the defensive side, not great. And that Outlaw is like an operator. Here goes Martin, all of that utility that we spoke about. He can just run through it! And he's gonna just execute Natank. Eventually, Monster is there for the trade though. They're keeping things even, but he is under some serious pressure, being wrapped on from the side. He's going to go through his own snake bite, and it's not gone well. And well, Flyer running through the smoke hasn't gone well either. And VLU's not hit the shot. Everything in the last few seconds has gone wrong, but maybe, just maybe there's a chance. Never mind, Aves on the case, 12-4. Lotus is feeling like a long way away.
It's not rounds that should necessarily work, but when you're finding opening kills like that, and like this, then suddenly all of that util means little to nothing.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was a bit of a whiff.
I am Papa, sit down.
You think back to the start of this map, Filu standing up, shouting across the stage. Well, he is getting his fair share back in return from the side of KC. Now 8 chances to close this down. I asked you, Paul, coming in to this half, did you expect KC to slow down? Would this comp have its limitations? And evidently, you were correct. They didn't slow down. They sped up. Their foot is on the gas.
18-9 for Aves and Martin.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, that's the thing. When these two are both on, you call a timeout.
There's a reason that KC have moved towards these double duelist comps over the last month and a half or so. They have been fantastic at making the most out of Aves. We know how good Martin has been on this this Euro over the last sort of 18 months or so. But seeing Aves really grow into this sort of Phoenix Raze second entry role that allows Martin to play a slightly more independent playstyle sometimes, actually plays into both of their individual strengths, both as people, okay? Aves giving it in and outside the server as well, okay? And also the way that they're able to call with Sadak and a lot of their heavy set execs that have been the KC strength for so long over the last 2 years.
It's a good time to touch on stakes for Movistar Koi 0-3. The chances of making it to playoffs looking desperately low. It is Apex and Na'Vi, probably their easiest games towards the end of the season. Looking at map 1, there's definitely promise here for this team, and they've looked a lot better here today when it comes down to the fundamentals that I think were missing in those first 2 weeks of Stage 2. But ultimately, it could be too little too late if they do show up towards the end. Their chances will be relying on other teams, other matchups, and other fixtures going just the right way to give them a chance. Whereas for KC, dreams of making it to Paris looking very much alive. They took a blow to start this on Lotus, but they've lost 6 rounds since then, and they may win it with that same streak intact.
9 rounds in a row is what was had for KC.
Scanning ahead.
They definitely found themselves a counter. They're now running in towards this C site. Daddy G already tagged. Filu already tagged. It seems like this might just be the last hurrah, trying to fight back versus Abyss. It's been an impossible task, and while he continues his run of 4, Monster down to just 21 HP, make that 0, and the only man standing in KC's way of getting their second win is going to be Natank. Last time out playing this map, he was on the ISO, he was the fragger. The only thing that really could work out for him is the time. That's all she wrote. 13-4 for KC. A dominant last 2 maps.